coach, consultant, or service provider, and you want to secure more leads, opportunities, or clients, then this is a masterclass for you. And from what I can tell, mostly everyone in the room is they fall within these parameters. So I've conducted thousands of LinkedIn assessments, and here's what I found. People who are not currently generating consistent results with LinkedIn, they don't have a reliable, proven system that they can scale as they grow. So today we're going to cover, you're going to learn the exact 3 shifts you can make to double your sales, skyrocket your leads, and maximize your results on LinkedIn in 30 days or less, even if you have not seen results from LinkedIn in the past. So it doesn't matter if you haven't seen even like a level of results that you want. I'm going to show you how to do this. You'll also learn how to be so laser targeted with your message that it will be completely irresistible to your target client, that they can just reach out to you and they have no questions whatsoever. My goal is to get you to stop chasing, and now you start to enroll clients. And you're going to experience the 1 shift that will allow you to enroll more clients faster, and they'll want to pay you more money. And best of all, this allows you to only work with the people who inspire and energize you. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? Because when you don't work with people who inspire and energize you, it feels like work, and it feels like heavy work. And then you're also going to learn how to know with complete and unwavering certainty that no matter what happens with the economy or with your business, you'll have a way to immediately shift and get right back on track with better targeting. So let me show you what it looks like when you laser target your ideal client with the right positioning. So I get requests that come in on a weekly basis for my services. I was able to pick up 40 leads last month. So you see these appointments? Well, I'm going to show you exactly what I was doing that week in order to get these appointments. And when you get laser targeted, here are certain things that can happen, right? So my simple promise to you today is this. You will get a simple step-by-step strategy that drives leads into your business week after week, and you'll learn the art of premium lead generation. And when I talk about lead generation, it's not going in anyone's inbox and spamming them and sending messages from automated streams. We see this a lot on LinkedIn. But I want this to be different for you, because as experts and as people you've been in the industry for a very long time, for most of you decades, you have this level of reputation and integrity that you want to keep. So I'm going to show you this system. It's something that you can implement no matter what your personality type, hey introverts, or how small or large your LinkedIn network is. And I'm going to teach you how to do that in 20 minutes a day. You're going to also learn how you and I can work together to start implementing this system into your business. So yes, that's right. I will have a solution that I want to share with you at the end, but for now, just relax and enjoy the training, right? So now this is why people struggle. So you may feel that you're at point A right now, especially when it comes to marketing on LinkedIn and building your business, but you're looking to get to where you want to be, which is a point B. And this is where the big barrier comes in. So when we think about this bottom, image with all the squiggly lines, you're going up and down, you just feel like you have all of these different challenges. So you're at point A, but you want to get to point B, but you know that something's holding you back. And for most of you, if not all of you, it's your story that you're telling yourself. So the story that you're telling yourself is what's preventing you from getting from point A to point B. It's almost like this invisible force where the comfort zone lies, right? And it's keeping you really safe. So sometimes it feels good to just say that I have likes and I've engaged, but nothing else is really coming in from that. So what is the story that you're telling yourself? What's the thing that will ultimately help you to play at a higher level if you remove the story so you can achieve your goals and achieve everything that you deserved? So here's the thing. This is why I see that people struggle, right? They say things like, I'm not good enough. And this is especially something that I see with women entrepreneurs. I don't deserve this. For a lot of people, they think that they have to go through immense struggle and hardship before they actually get to their win or get to what they need. They also say, I don't fit in, especially when it comes to LinkedIn. I'm not professional enough. It's stuffy. It's so formal. This is not my usual playground. Same thing. I'm not one of them, right? Another thing, this is way too tough. This is like, and here's the thing, especially if you're an expert in your field and you've been doing it for a while, it's almost like, you know, you can do your work with your eyes closed, but when it comes to LinkedIn, you're like, okay, this is something new to me. How am I going to figure this out? Lastly, for a lot of people, they also say it's too technical, right? So are any of you telling yourself any of these stories? Let me know in the chat if you are. So if you're telling yourself any of the stories that you see, let me know in the chat. And let's see if there's anyone. Yeah, Tracy said it's not your mom's LinkedIn anymore. Although mom jeans and I saw dad jeans are in for women. Anyone else telling themselves any of these stories? Well, that's good if you're not telling yourself any of these stories. All right, so Dr. Latana is, I've been killing these off one by one. Joyce, so Joyce has been telling herself these stories. All right, anyone else telling themselves these stories? So most of you guys should be fine then. We need to figure out what else is going on. So you haven't been telling yourself these stories, but something else is going on. So maybe it's just that you don't have a strategy in place, right? But if you are telling yourself these stories, but it's okay, you don't really want to admit to it because sometimes we don't as experts. It's hard for us to admit that we don't know something, especially when it's a group of people. We don't want to say that in front of the group of people. But here's what happens when you change your story, because you change your outcome. And then you can also get results like this. So meet Debbie. So when Debbie reached out to start working with me, she had less than 300 connections on LinkedIn. And she wasn't even enthusiastic about using LinkedIn at all. She was pivoting in her career. So as a government contracted attorney, she was deciding between taking a position at a law firm or building her own consulting practice. And she knew that her potential clients were using LinkedIn, but the idea of investing time and energy into it did not excite her at all. But what made her hesitate the most to use LinkedIn is that she would look at people's LinkedIn profiles, and she noticed with the good profiles, they would have this imagery to describe themselves, and she felt she didn't have the creative language to make LinkedIn work for her or even make her LinkedIn presence stand out. And of course, she had no established brand on LinkedIn because of that. So she decided to start her own business. This is long story short. Instead of working for a law firm, she decided to start her own business. The first thing I did was overhaul her profile. We spent a lot of time optimizing her audience because she just didn't have anyone at all, right? So it's about building this audience from scratch, building out her content, and positioning her as a trusted resource authority in her space. And like I mentioned, she was also starting from scratch. So the question is, did this work for her? Absolutely. So Debbie was booked out within 6 months of launching her campaign. And she also had a waiting list of clients 3 months out. So this is what she said about working with me. Coach Deb came highly recommended. And after my first call with her, I could tell she was not only very knowledgeable, but she is passionate about what she does. I wanted that, to be passionate and excited about whatever I did next. So it made sense to take advice from someone who figured out just how to achieve that. Life today is full of clients, mainly small tech companies and government contractors, strategic partners with people I've learned from and respected, and freedom to travel and enjoy the perks of being my own boss. Coach Deb was an integral part of this new reality, and I treasure every session we had together. Kind of cool, right? Really cool. So meet Angie. And this is what Angie shared. VIP consulting with Deborah challenged me and helped me to reach beyond what I once thought were my limitations. I think the key was her ability to ascertain where I was on my journey, meet me there, and guide me to where I needed to be. Mediocrity is no destination and one heck of a place to get stuck. All I can say is if you're feeling stuck or floundering, seeing but not reaching your potential, give Deborah a call. So What's the lesson here? If you change your story, you're going to change your results. My clients changed their story and their business took off. I changed my story and my business doubled. So tell me, go ahead and share in the chat. Who wants to change their story today? Put a 1 in the chat. If you know you need to make a shift and change your story, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat, okay? If you know that you need to change your story, if you know there's something that's probably holding you back from really showing up as your full self, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. So Tracy knows that there's something holding her back. Joyce is in the same space. Jihan says the same thing. Dr. Blackwell says the same thing. Cindy, okay, yeah, we have a lot, and I was in the same space, so I completely get it. So let's talk about why you should even listen to me, right? So just a little bit about my background. I've trained over 3,500 professionals globally on LinkedIn strategy and optimized over 1,000 profiles. I have a 20-year background that involves marketing strategy, brand development, and business development. What I love about my business development background is like I can take what's going on with LinkedIn and we call that social selling, and we can create this into the digital space. So business development in the past, it required a lot of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of different conversations. But with using LinkedIn, you can reach tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people just with one conversation, right? I've also helped I've also generated tens of thousands of leads from my clients from LinkedIn. I've helped clients secure millions in deals. And I was nominated by LinkedIn as LinkedIn's top Black voices to follow and amplify, which is a real honor. So at the end of the day, what this means is I have a track record. I'm not just a person talking about what I do. We see a lot of those people who do that. I actually do what I do. But I'm going to tell you something. It wasn't always this way, right? I don't know if you guys remember the movie Hidden Figures. This was like from back in the day, where these women who are scientists worked for NASA. Of course, they got no credit for the work that they did. They were in the background doing the work. So I was what you could consider the hidden figure, right? Keep your head down, do your work. This is my conditioning and how I thought about it when I was in the corporate world. Don't ruffle too many feathers. Don't be so intimidated. Don't be so outspoken. Fit in by any means necessary. So when I started on LinkedIn in 2013, no one knew who I was. That's because, I was really just so worried about what others would think or their opinion of me. What would people say if I posted this? What would people say if I shared my wins? Will they think that I'm doing too much? Why does everyone seem like they know what they're doing except me? So the introvert in me started to question if what I had to share was even of interest to others, despite my 20 years of marketing and sales accomplishments. And I know it sounds like crazy even to hear that, but yeah, that was my reality. So one day someone online said to me, why are you keeping so quiet about your genius? If I had your background, I would have a waiting list of clients. So that woke me up, guys. That helped to change my story. And instead of worrying about what other people thought, I went through this whole exercise where I asked myself these 3 questions. What if? What if I only focused on one client type? What if I only focused on one specialty? And what if I only focused on one message? And then what happened next was so unbelievable. I started getting recognized, recommended, and sought after as the go-to expert. So the middle picture is of me at the Black Enterprise Women of Power Conference. I was brought in to coach the executives there. This is something a conference that they do every single year. You have tens of thousands of executives from different companies, leadership teams who come to the conference, all mostly women. We have a few men. So I was brought in as a coach. The left is me doing my first keynote luncheon at International Networking Week. It was intimidating at first, but then it just felt natural. And then this is me, all the different events that I've done so far. I've done hundreds of thousands at this point. I wouldn't say hundreds of thousands, but thousands at this point. So these are the list of companies that I've worked for and worked with, and also some media that I've been involved with. I have consulted with hundreds of leaders in various industries on how to use LinkedIn to build their business and brand. I've spoken at various summits and conferences all over the country on LinkedIn marketing strategy. I've taught at several universities, been on countless podcasts, and I've been interviewed on TV about LinkedIn for Business. I've even been featured in the different publications, Oprah, Black Enterprise Magazine, the New York Times. But I can tell you, when my sales doubled in 1 year, I sat down to create a framework for every step that I took to grow my brand on LinkedIn. So now I can say with full certainty that I cracked the LinkedIn code. And if any of you guys, some people are newer to LinkedIn, some people have been on there for years. 2 years ago, LinkedIn made this major shift. I also made the major shift. We always have to make sure we're shifting with the conversations that our potential clients are having, right? So does this sound like you? Are you constantly busy with endless to-do lists, but your sales are not reflecting the huge amount of work and effort that you're putting in every single day, even on the weekends? Is your inbox flooded with marketers who are pulling you in a million different directions, leaving you feeling overwhelmed with too much information? I need you guys to put a yes in the chat if any of this applies to you, right? You have to be, I mean, if you're on LinkedIn, I'm going to know the people who are not necessarily on LinkedIn and who are on LinkedIn. If you're not necessarily seeing any of these marketers in your inbox, I can tell you're probably not even active on LinkedIn. So that's probably going to be a thing, right? So that's going to be your first step. So the invisible force or the story you're telling yourself that you can't be active on LinkedIn. So another thing, like I mentioned, that invisible force that's holding you back. For a lot of people, it's that comfort level of being used to one platform or being used to doing things a specific way. If that's you, say yes in the chat. Are you getting sucked into these overly complex guru type strategies that involve having to build out these complex funnels that leave you confused and overwhelmed instead of stress-free and booked solid? And whatever that book solid looks like for you, it could be 4 people, right? Are you spending hours learning the latest lead generation strategies instead of delivering results for your clients? Or do you find yourself spending way too much time creating hours of free content? And sometimes it just feels like you're talking to yourself and no one else. Let me see who have experienced any of this. So we have Joyce. Joyce have experienced that. Oh, love to see that Felicia's in the room. Rashida has experienced that too. Yeah, Christopher sees that. Chasey, I hope I pronounced your name properly. She said the to-do list and the constant spam in her inbox. And I see a lot of people are experiencing that too. I get it. So I love their engagement, by the way, guys. I can tell you're playing at a higher level, and I absolutely love that. So you're gonna absolutely love what I'm gonna share with you today. I'm gonna tell you something, especially as it pertains to LinkedIn and how it shifted and the different things that might seem confusing for you. It's 100% not your fault. A lot of this information you see out here, whether you go on YouTube or whether you go on Google, and you're downloading information, you're watching videos, and it just doesn't make sense for you because LinkedIn has changed. LinkedIn has shifted. So the information that you're seeing out there right now, it doesn't speak to the new reality of LinkedIn. And I can tell you I was there before. So that's why I always talk about, changing and pivoting and being able to understand what your customer wants, right? So today, my job will be to remove the confusion and overwhelm, to give you a framework of what you need to create the results that you've been waiting for and that you truly deserve in your life. So it's going to go through one more time. Let's talk about why now. Let's talk about some opportunities that I'm starting to notice, and it's even more as the economy is starting to shift. I'm starting to notice certain opportunities on LinkedIn. So let's go through that. We have 180 million senior leaders, senior executives on LinkedIn. 1 in 8 LinkedIn users are decision makers. So decision makers, pretty much a person who just signs a check, right? For those of you who play in the smaller 10 or less business owner, employee type of business, over 97,000 companies with an annual revenue of 2.5 million to 5 million with 11 to 50 employees are on LinkedIn. I don't want to ever hear, well, I'm probably going to hear it again, but I don't want to hear again, oh, I can't find clients who are willing to pay my fees, because sometimes I even know that you guys have fees that you've dropped down rock bottom because you think that they can't pay your fees. So let's go on. There's 94,000 companies with an annual revenue of 2.5 million to 5 million with 1 to 10 employees on LinkedIn. So if you're targeting smaller business owners, why not go after the ones who are bringing in 2.5 million to 5 million instead of going for the ones who are bringing in 20,000 a month, right? 20,000 a year. So we have 13,000 companies with an annual revenue of 5 million. I wanted to get a little bit further with you guys so I can get you to start thinking bigger about this. 13,000 companies with an annual revenue of 5 million to 10 million with 1 to 10 employees are on LinkedIn. So just wanted to kind of go through what I shared, talked about here. This is something that I pulled. It took me a short time to pull, something that you can pretty much pull out on Sales Navigator. So with annual revenue of 10 million to 20 million, company headcount of 1 to 10 people, you can see there's 13,000 companies that fall within this parameter, right? So can you see the opportunity here? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if any of these stats that I pulled up, if these are any of the people that you're targeting. Let me know if you can see the opportunity, right? Because here's the thing, you don't need a large network to get results on LinkedIn. As a matter of fact, I have clients that are running these systems and strategies with less than 2,000 connections, and they're averaging about 15 to 20 leads a week. So let me know if Chasey, right? Tracy says, wow, Christopher is super interesting. Fabulous, fabulous, guys. So here's my client, Kim, right? She came to me looking to build a pipeline of potential portfolio companies for business opportunities. Kim was able to triple her network and saw a 500% increase in visibility. So this is an interesting thing. To me, this is a really big win for her. She was invited by Techstar as a VC resident in training, venture capitalist, just to spell out for a few. It's one of the largest pre-seed investors in the world with a combined market cap of $71 billion. So she actually mentors the participants, and she also identifies participants for the Techstar program. So this was something that we built out and put together within a 4-month period, guide. Here's what Kim had to say. The value of working with Deborah is immeasurable. Rebranding my profile for higher visibility pushed several opportunities forward that were in the works. She helped me to grow my network and got my profile in front of the right people. This opened up new opportunities for speaking engagements, partnerships, and referrals. Now with Kim, she easily has over 100,000 opportunities and even more in her pipeline. And I'm going to tell you, this is just the beginning. This is what a few other clients shared. So Angela shared that I've written a proposal for a pediatrician looking for an accountant from my exploratory. This is one of our strategies that we put into place, her exploratory outreach, and just got asked to speak at Xero event, and Xero is a accounting software, mostly for a SaaS, mostly for your coaches, consultants, small business owners. Well, where there will be other business owners who are potential clients in attendance. Excited as I was not expecting either of these to happen. And Dr. Felicia, who is on live with us today, I took a couple months and $1 million in professional liability and general liability insurance. Guys, when you tend to work with larger organizations or some mid-sized companies or even federal, they will require some insurance policies, right? But Dr. Felicia says she got the contract with the county, signed and delivered. My largest one-on-one coaching fee ever. Now, those are success stories I love to hear. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through the framework, right? We're going to start with step 1, the appointment accelerator, how to get clients begging for a spot on your calendar So you never, ever have to send another nasty inbox message again. So how do I get people to send me messages to work with me? So we start with something called our audience UVP framework. It's the 8 things that you need to do to build out your most profitable messaging and positioning. So you can't really just do, like some people like to take shortcuts. They do maybe 3 or 4 of them. We want you to complete all 8 of them. And you may even, maybe you'll get results with, doing 5 or 6, but I want you to maximize your results. And you're going to do this when you complete all 8 of these frameworks. And as you start going through this process, as you start getting clearer and clearer, you'll start to see how you can refine your content and you can convert the content that you currently have into conversations and sales. And the great thing that I like about this, once it's set up, it gets better and better each time. And as you put more content out there and as you have more conversations, you refine it to start to target a more high-level type of client too. What I'm going to say right now, this creates the most powerful sales message that you'll ever, and I'm, for some of you guys, you have amazing sales messages, I'm sure, but this is going to create, it's going to take it to the next level and create the most powerful sales message for you. So what I typically do, when I finish this framework, and I go over a new one every 6 months. I like to keep things fresh because a customer viewpoint has changed a lot more than, say, a customer viewpoint in the last 2 years, right? So I'll take this and I'll translate it into content for my posts. And here's an interesting thing. People will inbox me and they want to hire me because I'm delivering value. We have a lot of talk on LinkedIn and with coaches, right, to always deliver value, but are you delivering the right value? So are you delivering the type of value that people actually care about? So this is a thing I want you to start thinking about. So once and this is a framework I put together, once I put this into place, the leads started to come in daily. I'm going to say with complete confidence, when you incorporate this into your business, people actually finally know how to work with you before even talking to you. All right, so I want you to check this out. These are the messages coming into me. So Sean said, and I hide the face in the name, right? Your specialty is aligned with my needs. I'd love to cut to the chase and ask how much you charge for an assessment and how quickly I could book you. Now, Sean is he's a partner in a consulting firm, a boutique consulting firm. He saw one of my posts. You can see the time frame, right? I happened to be on LinkedIn. This happened within 5 minutes from him liking my post. So I want you to go ahead and take this screenshot as the things come through. Different types of posts have different objectives. If your goal is lead generation, what you post will be different than, say, increasing brand awareness or even building thought leadership. So go ahead and take the screenshot as I'm putting these out, right? So on LinkedIn, there are 5 types of content that will not only help you to attract clients, partners, and referrals, but they also convert very well. And I'll go through these one by one. So we have video, we have carousel post, we have newsletters, we have LinkedIn events, and we have polls. And I'll give you guys, if you want to take a second to take a screenshot, feel free. Let's start with video. So with video, it's 5 times more likely than any other type of content to start a conversation among people. Here's the reason why. And you can see, guys, with this one video, take a look at impressions. Over 7,700 people saw this. Crazy, right? So this is what I talk about when you can go to networking events, you can do your traditional business development, but you just have to share one post on LinkedIn and you can reach more people than you would ever see or meet at a networking event. So the great thing that I love about video, it builds trust and credibility fast. For some people, they share some posts and what they're typically doing is, I'm not going to say a lot of people do that, but potentially they can just Google all the information and they share a post based on what they Google. When you use video, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that it's coming from you. They feel your passion. They hear the passion in your voice. They see that you know your stuff. So this is why I think video is so important. And I know for a fact it converts well for me. And I know it converts well for my clients too. These are carousel posts. So these posts they fill the gap between a short video and single image posts, and it kind of offers you a way to tell your story progressively across several images. So the interesting thing with this carousel post that I created, it took me about 3 hours to put it together. This is almost like I'm pitching before an organization, right? So I get an opportunity to share my best pitch. I better take a little bit of time to put it together. So this took me 3 hours to put together for my audience. Obviously, I'll be repurposing it next month. As you can see, in the first 3 hours, I had nearly 8,000 views. Not bad for 3 hours of work, right? During the lifetime of this post, because what will happen a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, the algorithm shares it with more people as they see more people engaging with it. Over the lifetime of this post, it's had, and it might be a little bit more now, nearly 68,000 impressions. So just wanted to let you know, if you're looking to get in front of an audience who's ready to buy and you want it to be easier to convert, we need to really pay attention to how we're putting out our content, how we're positioning ourselves, and how we're showing up. We're going to do newsletters. It's another one. We'll do that in step 3. I'll go over that more. So another one that converts really well is LinkedIn events, because this gives you the thrill of creating your content as it's being published. So the LinkedIn live events, and it's similar, for what I'm doing right now, I actually set it up as a LinkedIn event. So I know I have a few people here from LinkedIn. I had a lot of people yesterday on live from LinkedIn. It's exploded in popularity. So once you start getting traction on your event and people start saying yes, then what happens is now the algorithm wants to send it to more people. So this event that we see right here brought in over 600 leads for one of my clients when she was introducing a new offer. You can see over 685 people raised their hand based on this topic. So it wouldn't attract someone who helps business owners to build funnels, right? This is a different market. This is a different type of client. 685 or more people raised their hand and said, yes, I'm interested in this topic and I would like to attend your event. So now the best thing about this system is that it targets clients or customers who are ready to buy now or making decisions to buy now. It works with any industry and it's based on proven results. So let me ask you this. Over the next 30 days, I want you to share in the chat, over the next 30 days, how many leads would help you to create a shift for your business and your sales? Over the next 30 days, how many leads would help you to create this shift? Go ahead and share it in the chat. And what I don't want you to do is limit yourself, right? When we tell our story of, maybe I've only gotten 5 in the past, so maybe that's all I can get. Let's think about it. What would be ideally in your dream big? What ideally, how many leads would you need to get to be happy with? Joyce says 10. Joyce, I'm going to encourage you to double that. Christopher says 10 to 15. Tracy 5. Rashida said 20. And keep in mind, these are targeted leads. I also want you to think about Renee. There we go, 60. I also want you to think about what's your conversion rate. Because if you're only asking for 10, but you have a conversion rate of 30%, then you really only want 3 clients, right? So we're getting some higher numbers here. And if it's 10, perfectly okay. But I want you to think big. I want you to start to think about, what do I really want versus what do I deserve or what do I think I can get? Love it, guys. Thanks so much for the engagement. So let's talk about polls. Polls are a fantastic way to get a conversation started on your page. Clearly, it's great for lead generation, and even if you need to do market research. So if you're just starting out, saying in a new niche, you have a new offer, you can just ask your audience. This got in front of 5,600 people, and I had 183 votes. So I pretty much said, what motivated you to update your LinkedIn profile in the past 18 months? Here's what I always say, guys. If you don't guess what your clients want, ask them. Don't guess what your prospective clients, your audience, anyone wants, just ask them. So for some people, they said, and the majority said, they updated their profile because of a new role, something new in business, or a life update. And the second group said to stay relevant for business. If you are not relevant in business, you're going to be forgotten. I hate to say that. I had to learn the hard way. You know, I'm the person, keep your head down, do the work, right? And that doesn't really attract the type of clients that I know that you're looking to attract. We had 12% who said they haven't made any new updates. I did a lot with that data too. So that was really, really good. So here's the deal. What I want for you, instead of being a nice to have solution, I want you to become a must have solution. Let's think about vitamin versus an aspirin. So I have particular vitamins that I buy because I'm like, okay, this might be good for me. I'm going to take it. And then there's days that I forget to take it, right? However, if I have a pounding headache that will stop my day, it's going to stop me from sleeping. It even gives me anxiety. I don't care. I'm going to go on Instacart. If I can get it delivered same day and I have to pay double the price, I'll go to Instacart or I'll drive 10 miles down the road if I have to get this aspirin level solution. So we want you to become a must-have aspirin level solution, right? Instead of long explanations, people know how to work with you before they reach out. Instead of long sales cycles, your prospective client stays engaged with you. And instead of wondering why people are not buying, you have a sales pipeline full of opportunities. So here's my client, Jillian. Jillian has impressively shown how taking the right action in the right order at the right time pays off to attract a high quality targeted audience and network that pretty much stands in as your invisible sales team. I call those your champions. So this attorney and advocate for farmers needed a more formal personal brand for LinkedIn. So that's what we worked on initially for her, just really focusing on her profile. A few months later, she reached out and said to me, okay, I'm constantly posting content, but no one is following through and no one's booking calls with me. What am I doing wrong? So I did a full assessment for her and realized that she wasn't necessarily taking the right action in the right order, right? When we talk about the content that we just went over, she wasn't putting out the right content for the audience type that she was trying to attract. Here's the thing. In less than 2 months, Jillian 4x'd her network. She saw a 500% increase in her revenue. She got back-to-back speaking engagements and received invitations to collaborate with key influencers. So how did this happen? A brand new audience found her. She put out the right type of content and a brand new audience found her, and they have become powerful referral partners for her. Take a look at the difference when we talk about video. So, you know, I can tell you go ahead and put out video, but if you're not positioning yourself and developing the message in the right way, it can fall under the before. So 102 views is what she saw on her video in the past. And then it grew all the way to nearly 4,900 views of this video that she put out. Here's what Jillian had to say. Deborah was a blessing to me in improving the marketing aspect of my LinkedIn profile. If you need someone to hire to assist you with improving your profile or professional marketing in general, I highly recommend Deborah. Her strategy is an automatic lead generator. So no going into people's inbox, no spamming people, but an automatic lead generator. So I'm going to tell you this, as you think about what you're doing, how you're showing up, the results you're getting right now is what you're actually committed to. So that tells you a lot about what you're committed to based on your results. So if you know that your messaging and positioning needs some work, if you're not getting people reaching out to you to work with you consistently, type message in the chat, okay? So you know your messaging and positioning needs some work. Go ahead and type message in the chat. All right, if you know that your messaging needs a little bit of work or even your positioning, we have to kind of have that distinction between the two. Go ahead and type message in the chat. So Dr. Blackwell, yeah, she needs a little bit more. Tracy, Jihan says the same thing. Yes, Joyce, yes. So here's the thing. So this is what we kind of working on this in the second step, right? So when you have your messaging and positioning in place, we can then move on to step 2. I always say one step builds upon another. Stop skipping steps, because what I notice, a lot of people are trying to go from A to J, without having figured out or gotten clarity on B, C, D, and E, and the others. So let's move on to core principle number 2. It is the growth accelerator, how to put your LinkedIn growth on autopilot using my 90% outsourced formula. So now, if you're like most of my clients, you just don't have hours daily to be on LinkedIn, like you see so many of the experts telling you to do. For me, I personally don't log into LinkedIn every day. It can get distracting. I mean, you guys know that social media in general can get distracting. I prefer to focus on my time for my client work and, of course, spending time with my family, right? So let me go ahead and show you how you can get your time back. So once a week, I have this set up. I outsource 90% of my work. I spend 10% of my time assigning duties. Here's the checklist that I would say when I finish, go ahead and take a screenshot of this too, right? I outsource my growth and my clients' growth. I outsource my appointments. I outsource the creation and promo of my events like this event. So go ahead and take a screenshot, and then we're going to move on to the next step. I want to show you what my content library looks like. Another thing too, I outsource the distribution of my content. So this is what my content library looks like. Of course, I blurred it because, this is private information. But just so you know, this is kind of the setup that I have. I spend less than 1 hour a week on my LinkedIn presence, but I spend 60 minutes every Monday setting myself up the entire week. I also have SOPs in place, standard operation procedures. All you really need, you need the framework and you need the SOPs, and it's only about 20 minutes a day. So when we think about, and this is a SOP I hand out for someone when we think about attracting coaches, consultants, and executives, right? I have a particular service for that. We go all the way from attention, all the way to driving inquiries, doing the sales, collecting the money, all the way to the end. So that's the SOPs. For me, if you have the framework and SOPs in place, you just have to outsource this stuff. And this is something I have like frameworks on how to even build this out. So Mel cracked the code. Here's what she had to say. Working with Deborah was everything I wanted and more. I originally saw her genius when we spoke at the Success Women's Conference, and I knew when it was the right time for my business, I was going to hire her to up-level my LinkedIn. Not only did she create an amazing profile for me, but now I've been getting profitable connections and opportunities in my inbox. Love that. She also built out a blueprint for me to follow to ensure those results would continue. Because what we want, guys, we want a systemized approach that we can do over and over again, a repeatable approach, right? Same thing happened with Deborah and Michelle. With Deborah, her company, the team, they were spending tons of money on Facebook ads, and they weren't attracting their ideal clients. So Deborah put together a strategy, and we saw the ROI almost immediately. I don't know why I have a tricky time with saying that word. We have been able to generate almost 24,000 views on one post. We never had more than 200. And for Deborah, that was able to drive a lot of leads for her too. For Michelle, before participating in a LinkedIn session with Deborah, I was not connected with those who needed my service most on LinkedIn. Now I speak to my target audience confidently. I have landed a book deal, awesome new clients, and a B2B partnership. Don't think about it any longer. Just reach out to her. You will not regret it. Amazing, right? So let's talk about step 3 in the process. And one more person. Someone I helped in this whole process too was Jamie. We got clear on her brand voice. We got clear on her messaging. We systemized her entire process, and we built out her content strategy. Jamie was able to win a contract with a Fortune 500 company. Here's what she had to say. I wasn't sure how to brand myself or how to get back out there effectively. I was so impressed with Deborah the first time we talked that I knew she would be the right coach for me. Working with Deborah required me to not only leave my comfort zone, right? That story that most people are telling themselves, but it really showed me how limited my mindset was at the time. Deborah had a vision for what I could achieve that was bigger than I imagined for myself. So this is why I say it's very important to be able to shift your story, because for some people, they think they're showing up powerfully, but when I meet them whether I meet them in person or I speak to them on Zoom and then I look at their LinkedIn, I say there's something missing here. There's something that we're not that you're not doing that's really bringing in your client base. So let's focus on core principle number 3, which is a visibility accelerator. How to get 1,500 views to a simple post in minutes, even if you don't have a large following. So this is what I was telling you about before, the newsletter feature, right? The newsletter feature on LinkedIn is the best kept secret that very few people use. When I released the first issue of my newsletter, I had 6,000 subscribers from LinkedIn members in 3 hours. I did nothing but hit publish. But I'm going to tell you, and I thought about it before I put this out, because I was one of the beta users for newsletters. So I had it for at least 6 months before because I didn't know what to do with it, guys. So I had it for at least 6 months before I even did something. And then I was like, okay, what I want to do is because my background's in product management, I know that when a company first releases a product, they want it to be successful. So they'll do everything to make sure it's successful. So I noticed that not a lot of people had it and not a lot of people were using it. So I wanted to test to see what would happen if I went ahead and launched this. And it was obviously 9,900 subscribers now. I don't do a lot of work to even push subscribers. So whoever comes, they come. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what this looks like. So when you publish a newsletter, right, your subscribers, they get an email from LinkedIn. So this is different from your list, right? Where we always say you only have like maybe a 3% open rate. You get an email from LinkedIn saying that you just released a new issue. So that's where the credibility comes into place, because LinkedIn, the company, is sending an email to your actual connections and telling them that you just published a newsletter. And as you can see at the bottom, it says, see what others are saying about this topic. Open on LinkedIn. Obviously, we know if you think about it, LinkedIn has selfish reasons for doing that, right? They want people back on the platform. So why not give them that opportunity? Why not help LinkedIn to do their job by bringing people back on the platform? So I'm going to say this. If you create a killer newsletter that drives engagement, LinkedIn will also start to share it with more people. And that's because when you invite people to sign up for your newsletter, only those who resonate with the topic will sign up. So once again, when we think about, the newsletter, you're only getting the people who are actually interested in your topic. Same thing that I mentioned with live events, right? And this converts well because, of course, it positions you as an industry authority and it builds trust really quickly. So here's the thing, guys. With these inquiries that I get from my newsletter, they reach out to me. They're in my inbox. Maybe like I used to have my phone number on LinkedIn too, until one day someone actually called me and I was like, oh, this feels weird. So I removed my number, but I do what makes it right for me. Some people, they prefer to leave their number. I have a systemized process. So I'd rather someone either come through my inbox on LinkedIn or they send me an email, right? So I've had these various inquiries from my newsletter. Thank you so much. I actually recently launched my page. It was a conversation we had. I would like to work with someone that can build a page and its visibility. Is this in your line of work? So this was someone who read my LinkedIn newsletter about, is your profile driving away your ideal clients or is it attracting them? Someone else says, hello, Deborah. I would love to hear about how what you do can facilitate promotions of my brand and obtaining consultancies and speaking engagements. This person was from the UK. Someone else reached out to me. I just shared a portion of this. I would love to invite you to join our panel of women of influence. Not only will you get paid to participate in our Insight Salon, but we will also give back to our panelists in the way of networking, collaboration, mentorship, and brand swag. Would you like to be on the panel? She had me at brand swag, guys. I like brand swag. She had me at brand swag. So here's the thing that, I want you to realize. What shifted for me, allowing myself to put myself out there, allowing myself to understand to understand my limitations and what I can do beyond my limitations was investing in mentors and consultants. I realized that if I wanted to get 25,000 monthly and beyond, I needed to get help from people who had already figured it out. And I spent tens of thousands of dollars on mentors and bought into their programs, which helped me each and every time. So our system allowed Kim to generate over 600 leads, which led to speaking opportunities in Dubai. She became an expert trainer for a brand in her industry. Over 100 leaders attending her very first event, being sought after as an industry authority. And of course, this led to an increase in revenue, reach, and results. So this is the thing. My clients see success with this because I master the product that I market on and that I teach them, which of course is LinkedIn. I know what it takes, and of course I can share it with you directly. Bottom line, I do what I say. So this is why I work so incredibly hard on these frameworks to make it so simple for others to get results. My job is to make sure I remove any sort of overwhelm, because I think for some people, what they think, they go on LinkedIn and they feel overwhelmed just in general. So my job is to remove the overwhelm, and we work with you, of course, to get results each and every time. So here's what we cover today. The first step is a predictable and reliable system that will allow you to laser focus on your positioning and messaging so you become sought after for your expertise. This could literally double the size of your business, guys. And this is exactly what happened to me and a lot of my clients. The second thing you need is to put together your LinkedIn growth on autopilot, because you cannot do it all yourself. So you can work on your business and not in your business. And the third thing is a visibility accelerator to skyrocket your visibility and reach in minutes, even if you don't have a large following. Because here's what I tell people over and over again. I see people kind of just starting out, right? They have 400 LinkedIn connections. They have 1,000 LinkedIn connections. They even have 1,500. That's still on the smaller side when we talk about, even under 5,000 is smaller. So if you just have 1,000 LinkedIn connections and you're sharing content, your content is amazing. It's killer content. It's always gotten amazing rave reviews, but no one is going to see it because you're not connected with a lot of people. I also want you to consider that at least 60% of registered users and maybe people that you're connected with on LinkedIn, they don't even show up on the platform. Think about yourself, right? So I've taken you through the system. And if you want to double your sales, skyrocket your leads, and maximize your results on LinkedIn, it's not about taking one piece of the puzzle. It's about implementing the right steps at the right time. So you need different strategies for different stages that you're in your business, even different stages that you're in on LinkedIn. Do you have the audience built in? Do you have that trust built in for your audience? Do you have engagement already? Do you have things built into your LinkedIn presence and your LinkedIn brand? There's going to be different strategies. This is a key thing that I want you to remember. So it's never about and this is when I think about my clients, it's not about strategies that I'm like, oh, that I'm using for myself. There are options that we have that I know that you're looking to attract this specific audience, and these are your revenue goals. This is what you should implement, right? So the question is, if you had a system like this that allowed prospective clients to be sold on you before they even spoke to you on a call, right? How much revenue do you think you can add to your business? Let me know in the chat. How much revenue, if you had a system that was repeatable and a proven system for you, based on what you've seen, how much revenue, or how much more revenue could that add to your business? Rashida says 500K, and yes, I agree with you. We've had conversations. I completely agree. How much revenue, how much more revenue would that be able to add to your business? 2 million. Love it, Dr. Blackwell. 50,000, Joyce says. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I love that you're thinking big. I love that you're thinking that way, right? So let's talk about what happened with Shirley. She said, I just completed a proposal via Zoom. She presented via Zoom, got the contract for an aviation industry company for leadership development before starting their diversity recruiting that I will also be helping with. So she was able to get 2 opportunities within 1 contract. A warm lead from our July Blitz is a strategy that we built out and we all did together during a workshop. Today I was with the CEO and made some strong connections from my 20,000 plus viewed post this week. I'm telling you about those posts, very important, guys. For Martia, she pitched a webinar idea to the Eventbrite. This was another strategy we put into place, an Eventbrite content that I made. They liked it and they will review it with their leadership. If approved, it will be paid. Paid is the operative word, and I will gain visibility of higher education institutions. I also interviewed for an upcoming article with a LinkedIn reporter regarding women entrepreneurs. I mean, that's a big deal. LinkedIn within itself, if you haven't noticed this shift, over the past, and I would say 4 years or so, LinkedIn hired hundreds of editors to share content on their platform. Because if we think about, back in the day, this is me working in the corporate world. And when I worked in New York and I worked in the high-rise buildings, you would have like the Wall Street Journal would be thrown outside some of the office buildings because that's how people got their information. Obviously, if LinkedIn builds themselves into a media company, which they have, now they can get a lot more people spending time on LinkedIn to read the content, to get their insight, which will, of course, will drive up advertising dollars. I like to break all of this down, guys, so you can understand why it's important to do what you do on LinkedIn and how you can benefit from what they want to do. So we have to think about what LinkedIn's goal is and how it can help you to get to your goal. Kim says, I started pre-selling a book I co-authored about how toxic workplaces affect women of color. I received the opportunity via LinkedIn. Amazing. I also got an opportunity to do a webinar and blog with a wellness company. I'm also coming on board with a healthcare consulting firm to do some consulting. Amazing. I'm going to tell you, these are people who attended a similar workshop to the one that you're watching right now. And look at the results they were able to achieve in a short period of time. The big difference is that we built out this system to help them to execute at a higher pace than they typically would do in the past. These testimonials are from clients who are just like you. I want you to be able to finish this year strongly and start putting everything into place so that 2023 is one of your most lucrative years financially. Now, it's more important than any other time of the year because we're thinking this is the end of Q4. People are making decisions about what money they're going to spend for, and a lot of people have already put together their budgets. But how would it feel if you put yourself in front of them so that they know, okay, I need a person to come in as a consultant for this particular project in 2023, and then you show up in their network and then they found you, right? There's also companies, they have their 2022 spend that they have not even finished spending yet. What will happen if they go before for a new budget and they have not completed or they have not spent everything for 2022? What happens with organizations? They will not give them a higher budget. They'll say, okay, well, you didn't spend everything that I gave you in 2022. Why would I give you anything higher than that? So I want you to start to think about this is how companies work and how can we make sure that we're positioned in a way that they want to use their budget to hire us. So let me ask you this. Who knows that there is money available on LinkedIn right now that you should be tapping into? If you're one of those people, type me in the chat. So type me in the chat if you know that there's money on LinkedIn that you should be tapping into, right? Go ahead and type me in the chat. Oh, we're still getting a word from Felicia, said 1 million for her opportunities. Tell me if you realize there's money, and I can imagine for most of you guys who shared with me what your revenue is, then you know that you're leaving money on the table, right? So Dr. Blackwell, Joyce, you know she's leaving money. Chisay knows that she's leaving money on the table. Yeah, I think, and it's just something that we know, right? It's just something that you know. All right, so let us try to think about this in a different way, right? Here is what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. If I offer to help you to build a scalable system to double your sales, skyrocket your leads, and maximize your results on LinkedIn in 30 days or less. Would you take me up on that offer? Let me know if you would take me up on that offer if I offered to do that for you. So right now, I'm opening the doors for a brand new program that I'm launching for 10 new clients, where I can help you to get these kind of massive results that I just shared with you in an accelerated amount of time. The first step is to complete an application for a discovery call. And what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and open this for you. If you're interested in a discovery call, we can go ahead and open that. And all you have to do is click the link, and then you can we can go ahead and get you scheduled, right? Should be on the screen right now for you to see. So what I want you to do is go ahead and take action, because with this application, two things are going to be necessary to determine if this will work for you. I want to know without a shadow of a doubt that I can help you, and I'm the best person to help you generate the results that you want. I also want to know that you're ready to step up. You're ready to change your story. You're ready to commit and take action and do the work that will help you to generate the results. And here's what I'm thinking too. When you do this, like when you put a system in place, because you mentioned before that you may not have a system in place, that you need, there's money being left on the table and you need help with this. You're going to save months, if not years, of time and experience, and you'll get faster results than if you try to figure this out on your own. So, like I said, I want you to take action right now. Go to that link. Let me know in the chat too if you can see the link. Let me know in the chat if you can see the link. Just want to make sure you can see it. Go ahead and tell me in the chat, can you see the link to set up a call, everyone? If you can see the link, and if not, you're going to go to meetwithdeborrah.com, copy and paste that link. You can always use that. Take the action, complete the application, and sign up for a call together. Let's map out a plan for you together. And even if you have questions, okay, I don't know if this is going to work with me. Obviously, that's the goal of the call. We're going to go through who your audience is, the type of revenue that you're looking to generate, what you're doing right now, and I can let you know, I'll let you know with full honesty if this is going to be the right move for you, because what I'm doing, this is going to be a new program that I'm launching. If I know I cannot get you results, I won't accept you as a client, mostly because when you get results, that of course is going to give me the proof that I know that this will work for many other people. So I've done this in the past, one-on-one with clients. I've done this with my academy clients. I have completely shortened the process because I know people can get results at an accelerated pace. So that's what I want you to do. But maybe you're thinking, all right, I don't have the right audience interested in my content. I don't want you to worry about that. We spend time creating messaging that calls in your audience. And maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm not quite sure what type of content to put out because the content that I'm currently putting out, it's not really doing anything. All right, I get that. That's definitely something I can help you with too. And maybe you think you can't seem to get people's attention on LinkedIn. You almost feel maybe you're not professionally enough, or the sales that you're trying to do, or even the offer that you have is not meant for the LinkedIn audience, right? So the positioning that I did with my client, Debbie, that helped her to get noticed for her brilliance and for the offer. So this is something that we're going to start to think about when I'm with you on the call. We want to think about what type of audience are you looking to get in front of? Is that audience on LinkedIn? I want to make sure we get rid of any of the stories that you have in your head that you cannot do this. So imagine this, guys. Imagine having a predictable framework for LinkedIn to generate more sales conversations every single month. A framework that can influence your buying decisions, a framework that can build trust, momentum, drive demand, and even garner commitment for your product, your service, or your brand. A framework that can drive more revenue-generated activities for your business to boost win rates and deal sizes. And this is something that can be pretty easy, right? So here's the thing, the choice is yours. You have two options. Option number one, you can do this on your own, and that's fine. If you want to take the long route, you will need to accept that it might take 12 months or so to figure it out. For me, it took about 2 years to get there. Things might be easier right now, but I want to set realistic expectations. It might take at least 12 months, right? So you'll have to kind of conquer all the roadblocks, which cost me a lot of time and hundreds of thousands of dollars in business opportunities. Then you have option number 2, which is always my favorite. I hire coaches, consultants, and mentors all the time to get me to the front of the line, is to get coached and get the strategy from a mentor who has done this before successfully with over 6- and 7-figure results. This is something that you can achieve in your business as well, because I've already figured out all of this stuff for you, right? I figured out what type of content that's going to work the best. I figured out how to position yourself, how to message yourself, how to develop your messaging to get in front of the right people. So I can actually guide you to get to your goal in the shortest possible time. So I'm taking applications through this Friday so that I can get my new clients onboarded by Thursday, December 1st. You get an entire month to get ahead in 2023. So I want you to go ahead, go right now. You can take the link, you can hit the button and go ahead and set up a call with me. Let's talk about the things that might be holding you back. Let's talk about anything or the systems that you might have in place right now, and we can go over that, okay? So we went through the system. I want to see for you guys, tell me if do you have a team? Do you have a VA? Do you have someone already helping you in your business? I'm going to put together strategies based on if you already have a team versus if you don't have any. If you have employees, let me know those things in the chat, right? Also, if you have any questions, then definitely share that in the chat. I may have missed a few in the meantime. Anyone in a position where they have a team, where they have a VA, they have anyone that helps them in their business? I think we're a little bit delayed on the chat. All right, fabulous. I see a few people already set up some calls for today. So we have some calls today coming in. That's amazing. So happy that you guys are committed to yourself and committed to making changes for 2023. So I will see you in a little while on the call, right? We have some people also booked for tomorrow. That's a great thing. All right, Dr. Felicia has 1 employee and a part-time VA. Fabulous. Dr. Blackwell, she doesn't have anyone yet, and we build that into the system. I think Christopher said, yes, I see it, but I don't know what he does see. So great. I see people setting up some calls. Love it, guys. Love it. What questions do you have about the process, about what you saw so far, about the content? Are you putting out content on a weekly basis, or are you putting out content daily on LinkedIn? Give me a bit of feedback about the content that you're putting out. One question that I had someone, they reached out to me yesterday after the presentation. They wanted to know how I am actually generating leads on LinkedIn. A lot of the leads that come to me, and like I said, most of the business that I have, a lot of them come to me from people actually liking my post on LinkedIn. I'm not even connected to them. So people like my post, and that person's, once someone likes your post on LinkedIn, that person's network sees all of that activity. So what will happen when they like my post, their network will then see my post. Because it resonated with them, it resonates with their network. That's how I get a lot of people reaching out to me, because they saw someone else's post. For me, doing events like this in a very systematic, strategic, intentional way is how I also generate leads. We have a few different ways because you always want to have different things that you're doing at different points, because at one point something's going to break, right? Something's not going to work. So any other questions about that process? So we have Dr. Blackwell. I think she said I share content a few times per year. So hopefully this is going to change for you. All right. Hopefully this is going to change. I see we have Joyce who just booked a call. So that's amazing. Fabulous. Surprised we don't have any questions, guys. All right. I'm trying to think anything else when we think about the, great. Dr. Blackwell, I'll chat with you in a few. I see you've also booked a call. Another question that I typically get are for people who they have double positions, right? For some, They want to use this as their side hustle. I have a lot of professionals. More often than not, now I'm getting a lot of physicians, a lot of attorneys, a lot of these business professionals who are questioning, okay, how can I still build my side business as a consultant and a speaker and still, have this place in my business? How can I mesh the two? What I typically say, and this is going to be based on your position and your messaging, because it's not wise to have too many different, if you have more than one profile on LinkedIn and LinkedIn finds out, they'll ban you. So they don't even give chances, because there's a lot going on with LinkedIn, with bots and different things, pretty much what was going on with Twitter with all the bots. LinkedIn is doing its best to fight from being one of those platforms that are known for having a lot of bots. So they will ban you if you have more than one profile. So what I typically do is we take a look at everything. It's not necessarily about the title. It's about who you are. It's about your expertise. It's about your genius, and also about your unique value proposition. That's one of the things that I'll be working through and building the framework out for people during this this program that I'm setting up. We want to be able to define as clearly as possible what is that unique thing that you bring to the table that no one else can touch you with, right? So when we build out their profile for someone, if you're in this room now, for someone who has both, they want to build something on the side, they're not really looking to leave their job, but maybe they just want to build their brand presence on LinkedIn. So they're already in this position and they want to build their brand presence. So we think about, how can we now set up your LinkedIn profile to do that? I do that based on your unique value proposition versus saying a title. This is your title. I wanted us to get away from titles and start working in a way that speaks to who we are and what we bring to the table. So Joyce wants to know, do we need to have a paid LinkedIn account? You don't need to have a paid LinkedIn account. You can do a lot of these things on your own. You have a lot more access to people and opportunities. When I talk about looking, and I'm very big on looking at data to make your decisions. So when we talk about looking at data, you have an opportunity to look through data on the back end to see unbelievable things. Remember that chart that I showed you with the companies? They have between 1 to 10 employees, and they're doing between 2.5 to 5 million. You cannot see that without the paid LinkedIn account, which is Sales Navigator, right? Okay, so all the times are booked. Give me a second, guys. We'll open up some more times. So what I'm going to do, I'll open up some more times for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and write down meetwithdeborrah.com. I'm going to open up the times and make sure that you can get in this week, okay? Open up some more times. Any other questions while we're doing that? That's why I always say move fast, because my calendar will get booked really quickly. I know it happens each and every time. So, and we probably had a few people from yesterday's session that booked too. So Joyce provides